Supriya, can you move? Yeah. Can we? Is Lynn there? Can we have Lynn Stevens to the stage, please? Yeah, come on. Yeah, no. I want to be able to say, come on. It's the 30th of March today. I'm not resigning until the 31st. No, because we're going to zip through this quite quickly. We had a little spot in the programme here for the WCC Steering Circle, just to make a little presentation, a discussion about some of the things we've been thinking about to take action forward. We're going to zip through it quite quickly to sort of make up a bit of the extra time that we took up with the politicians, and get onto a workshop which the wonderful Liz Courtney, who's here in the pink jacket, is going to run for us. So, first of all, this is a bit of an introduction to who is on our steering circle. So we have here, Liz, starting from the left, we've got Liz. Diana James lives up in Byron Bay. She's been very impacted by the floods up there, so she wasn't able to be with us. Beck, you did meet yesterday. She wasn't able to stay today. She had a little boy with her. Shelley, who is here, you have met. And Mary, who you have met. And then we also have Kirsten. Kirsten, unfortunately, has been rather unwell lately. She's one of our founding members of the Steering Circle, has been with us all along the whole journey, 5 years, done a huge amount of work. But we hope that she's going to be better soon. And we've got Lynn here. Lynn's also one of our founding members, and she has been absolute backbone of the organisation. Many of you know her because she's the membership person. Lynn has actually just resigned from the Steering Circle, but tomorrow is the day, so she still is a member of the Steering Circle today. But fortunately for us, she's still going to be around doing the membership for a while and making a transition to new people to take those roles on that she's been doing. So that's who we are. So we did send out a paper with some information about the sort of outcomes that we were looking at from this event, 4 different outcomes that are listed there. Hopefully you already all read this, so you're up to speed on it. Gender-balanced, united, ambitious climate action planning for Australia, mobilised women-led advocacy leading up to the election, increased involvement of women and gender-diverse leaders in UNFCCC COP negotiations, including with an eye on the fact that Australia is potentially going to be a co-presidency with the Pacific in 2026, and what can the women's movement really ignite to happen there. I always had a bit of a sort of, that's my taking forward of the International Congress of Women for 1915, that we need an International Congress of Women to really sort this out in 2026. And then very important, increased awareness of positive news and success stories that we can magnify and take into our communities. And then we put up a few ideas. The Parliamentary Women's Group I've already spoken about, so you've probably got the gist of that idea. We have put a proposal to a number of women in the Parliament who we've spoken to in the past, ahead of the election, hoping that might influence their thinking, but certainly after the election. If we did have a parliamentary women's group with a focus on climate change, that would be definitely a world first, because there's many parliamentary women's caucuses, but there's none with a specific focus on climate action. But any parliamentary women's caucus would be a useful thing, as you heard. The next thing is we've always pursued ideas around trying to get some different process for agreement making. In our charter, we refer to a national plan. Some of our thinking has gone a little bit away from that now towards, it's not so much the plan itself, it's the process, the collaboration, what we've been talking about here, and that probably involves, can't just expect it to happen, it involves some sort of facilitated or mediated process maybe, to really carefully thought out process to really help bring these conversations to happen. Oh, sorry, that wasn't that. What was that then? Oh, that was that was still the Women's Caucus. I was, sorry, that was the rationale for the Women's Caucus, but I'm zooming along because we're trying to make up time here. And this is the multi-stakeholder agreement idea, and there's some rationale for that there as well, which we sent out. It just, just having short-term politics with highly conflict-driven politics isn't going to get us to where we want to be, as we've heard. And so some processes, and women, we've heard here constantly the need for collaboration and to really try and bring that forward in the next Parliament to get that happening. Outcome 3. Oh, this is the international collaboration of women's organisations. That has already started to happen. There are organisations that have been here today, over this weekend, who have been involved in that. Weller, WCC, Robin's organisation, the Nature Conservancy, the International Women's Development Agency, who you heard from Sophie yesterday, Sophie was from ActionAid, sorry. And we also had someone here from the International Women's Development Agency yesterday. And a number of other women's organisations have already met together and are thinking about ways to partner and create, co-create, I suppose, this sort of bigger umbrella women's organisation to really have some impact. And it's interesting because another major women's organisation called Women Deliver, which has had a big focus around women's rights, gender equity, sexual, reproductive rights, but also now has a big focus on climate change, has got their international meeting in Melbourne in 2026 as well. So that's something else to think about. And I think here, oh, that's the rationale for that. We just think it's time for a new step up change for the women's movement, feminist movement, to really come together around these issues of such dire consequence for our future generations and all Earth life. There's a good reason for that at COP, because that's the COP family photo, not a family that we want to be part of. And it is happening, and here's a couple of the gatherings that there have been. The one on the right is Robin's Byron Bay gathering that you saw the film from yesterday, and a number of us did go in on the last couple of days of that, which was absolutely a wonderful experience. And on the left is a meeting we had in Melbourne just about 3 weeks ago, bringing together women from across different organisations. And create a culture of gratitude for progress made. Sometimes we overlook the good things that are happening. We don't always tell our politicians when they've done good things. We only tell them when they've done bad things. So that's another aspect to, and also to for ourselves to see the good things that are happening, the big increase in renewable energy that is happening, rather than always only focusing on the negative things. Okay, that's it. I'll just maybe pass quickly to the steering circles to see if they want to add any comments about any of those things. Mary's... It's on, Mary, the guy, he'll turn it, yeah.
Thanks, I couldn't hear anything. I just wanted to add, so my particular background is in the law and policy field, and so I'm particularly interested in the national planning process for climate change. And I just wanted to note that that is not just about getting states and federal together, it's about getting the different sectors together, because at the moment we've got climate change in the environmental sector, and we're not seeing the crossover between gender equality and climate change, and we're not seeing crossovers with the environmental sector and equality. So there's some things to keep in mind. Thanks.
Thank you. Just looking through all of those actions, as Janet went through them, I thought it came together quite well, but it could look like a bit of a checklist of actions. And that reminded me of discussions yesterday about you can't do everything. So, building collaboration and partnerships with other people and perhaps using that as a guide. We developed it from looking at the charter and having discussions internally and with the hosting circle and the steering circle and thinking, what is current now and how do we bring the charter to life right now. Thank you.
My background is in communications, so one of the things I have been absolutely amazed about is all the conversations I've had with women here who are doing extraordinary things in their community initiatives. And I think at the end of the day, women are the fabric that knit and weave their communities together and weave stories together. So I'm coming out of this thinking there's some amazing stories that we're not hearing that we should be hearing, and they're positive stories. And at the end of the day, I think it's always women that uplift their family, their children when times are difficult. And I think we're in those moments now, and I think all of us have a role to play in the stories that we tell, how we tell them, and how we can uplift other people every day with the positive things that we're doing well and encourage them to help accelerate them.
Well, I've had about 5 minutes to prepare because I don't think I've been up here. But I do want to say a couple of things. One thing I just wanted to add to the comments that Mary made is that the economy is critical in this too. So we need to be working across all sectors and the economy because, the economy does matter to us all and there's huge impacts to be gained from climate change initiatives for the economy, and there's also lots of detriment that could happen. So I think we need to be realistic and bring that in as well. But then I'm going to actually focus on, what I heard yesterday and a bit today too is the incredible importance of collaboration, and yet we say, well, how are we going to do it? And I think one step is to stay together. And, we have come together today, yesterday and today. And I hope that you will actually stay in touch with us. We're only one organisation, but we do try to share information across the whole sector of the women's climate movement, and we do try to collaborate. We try to talk about, to act in the way that we talk about in our values. We make a big effort to be a proper feminist organisation. Not always easy, but we do try, and we hold ourselves accountable to our values. So please have a look on our website and join up. That just connects you to us. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to actually do anything for us, but if you want to get involved, there are many, many opportunities and wonderful women to connect with. So that's my spiel for today.
And a special another round of applause for Lynn because she's just been amazing.
Actually, we're also congratulating people. I'm literally jumping in here, but besides the engine room behind putting this all together, I just want to mention that Janet has been working tirelessly with the engine room, and I just want to honour the fact that thank Janet for her vision and for her passion that she's put behind this to get us all here with the engine room of the team that have done it.
Thank you. Thank you, Liz. I think we are going to do some more different thank yous later, so that's good, but thank you very much for that. I'm quite a big picture person, as you can tell, and so I do tend to go to the sort of higher level, political level, but the community stuff that Shelley mentioned is also really, really important. I had a conversation over coffee with Laurie from Knitting Nanas about local councils. I mean, bullying in local councils is rife. Women have a terrible time in local councils. I think there's a huge amount of work that can be done there as well. So local is really good. That's why we started on Friday night at the pub with hearing about some initiatives in this local community here. So thank you. So I think we're going to move swiftly to,
So just in terms of outcome, I would just like to reiterate what the the Speaker of the House who said about the Victorian, there's a thing that's open for calling for Victorians to do submissions on their Victorian government climate change thing, and I would really encourage anybody here to actually make a submission to that, perhaps using the charter points, the speaking points. And I was talking with Marty, and maybe one of the outcomes could be a statement from this Congress making a point, perhaps using the charter as the point, but like actually making an official submission from this Congress with all the undersigned, blah, blah, blah. So just in terms of outcomes, I'd just like to put that on the agenda.
And thank you. And we are going to come to that as well in our final roundup session. So thank you.